go and see, well, I'm way up here, see what the spine doctor is supposed to do. There's 3 bulging discs. Yeah. Yeah, so, oh well.
So, you have a pain in the neck, you go before you take over his meeting, is that he's really pain in the neck?
It's just moving, it's gone from,
I can have Heather run more copies.
I'm gonna go back down.
yeah, well, just, it'll shift out there though.
Always does.
That's all right. I'm excited.
Don might not make it because she had work things.
And I have to leave at about 3:45, so I'll have to duck out.
Okay.
Well, I think we're going to call the meeting to order, the public forum. If it's okay, if you can, please stand. We'll say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the which stands one nation, under God, indivisible. Okay, how we're going to do this today, it's an open public forum, so everybody can get a chance to have some input. The council does not make a decision tonight, or today or tonight. It'd be at the next council meeting possibly. So again, we want to get as much input as we can. Everyone should have a chance to speak, and I ask that you just be respectful when someone else is talking. So to start us out, we will have Drew come on up, and he's got a small presentation.
And I'll advance forward for you.
Okay.
It'll just be easier.
You're gonna advance forward?
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you all for coming. My name is Drew Schmidt. I am the sole owner of Winthrop Market LLC, our grocery store here in town. My wife, Megan, she's the pharmacist here at Winthrop Pharmacy, and I have 2 kids. Glenn and Claire, they both go to GFW in 5th and 3rd grade. I am a local resident of over 10 years. My wife has been here her entire life, except for us at school, so I just want to go over a little bit of presentation here. So a little bit about the presentation and agenda is how Winthrop Market LLC first got started.
Is the mic on? Can everybody hear?
That's
Okay. There's a mic.
just project because it doesn't,
Speak
nothing's
loud.
connected to
Okay, I'll try to speak really loud. Okay, so then we have some facts about Winthrop Market, and what am I asking? What is Winthrop Market asking, and why are we asking it? And then there'll be time for some questions. So, how Winthrop Market got started is Red Rooster Foods, which was the grocery store before Winthrop Market.
Can you speak louder, Drew? They can't quite hear you.
Okay, Red Rooster Foods.
Can you maybe stand on the side and speak like straight to the west? And now your turn to speak in that way. Yeah, turn it over like that. Thanks.
Okay. So Red Rooster Foods, the grocery store that was before Winthrop Market, put that they were going to close in 2019. That's in March of 2019 is when I had joined the EDA. Me being a long time, or wanting to be a long time Winthrop resident, I wanted to get involved, know how we're going to maintain and build Winthrop. So part of the first thing was the EDA was informed that they were closing, and we wanted to keep the grocery store open. We did a long, extensive searches to try to find a new owner, and nothing was coming about. So myself, being a local resident, again, wanting to stay here long term, I myself didn't want to be in a town without a grocery store, do all that. So I began thinking, can we make this work? Can we put it together, a business plan, and make it work? So over a long 3, 4, or 5 months of working with many different people and business professionals, I put together a plan for 3 years to see if it would work. The unfortunate part is Red Rooster Foods didn't have a whole lot of flexibility. They were either going to close the doors completely, or this is the offer that's on the table, and everything like that. And that kind of came with a net lease, where you either buy or rent the building, you buy all the equipment and the inventory, and you're responsible for everything, property taxes, repairs, the whole works. It's not the ideal situation, but it is also not the ideal situation to let it see it close, because once it closes, it's really hard to get it to reopen. So, long story short, after a while, I established Winthrop Market LLC, and our first day open was September 16th of 2019. Just want to go over some facts here about our Winthrop Market. We have been successfully open and operated for over 3 years now. We are open over 360 days a year. Currently, we are fully staffed with 17 employees, 4 full-time, which is wonderful. We are a full-service grocery store. We offer the bakery, the deli, the HBA, the general, frozen, dairy, produce, and meat. And we have our own smokehouse, which we are able to do our own homemade meats with. We service SNAP, EBT, and WIC. We are a total food source provider, so we have everything with the produce and everything. So during COVID, we were open the entire time, making sure everybody could get their food. Part of being a full-service grocery store, we do assist customers that are needed with, bagging and getting their customers right to their car. We deliver to many residents in town and businesses, and we also deliver to some out of town, especially since the COVID. There's a Fairfax lady that has been with us now for over 2 years. And during COVID, the delivery service really boomed because we were able to deliver all the food to those who were ill. Another part of the delivery is the softener salt. There's a lot of them that we deliver softener salt to, not only to their house, but we also help get it down to their softener salt and sometimes in their softener salt. There's softener, water softener. So. We're not only here just for Winthrop Market, but we also do provide a lot of other business for other towns or for other people in the town. So, when we did our lighting project, all that was done with locally here through Jackson Electric. There's whether we sometimes, if we order some food or get some food from the employees while we're doing special events, we'll go to our local restaurants and do that as well. One thing that's really neat is we're able to provide kids as young as 14 with a job. I know there's not many around in our community that are able to do that. That's been a success that I've really appreciated in the three years. It's pretty neat to watch a 14-year-old kid with their first job come in and grow and learn and go all the way through to college. So another thing is we're thankful to service the City of Winthrop, the Winthrop Chamber, GFW, and I didn't want to list them all because there are many of them, but there's a lot of businesses in town, whether it's the City of Winthrop, it's all the Farm City Fun Fest, and we just had those, the Christmas in the Country and all those kind of things, but UFC, Heartland, DFA, all their appreciations, we're really thankful to help out and do their community business events. And we're thankful to service and support our local community residents. There's a lot of people in town that are, whether they're unable to or choose to, which we appreciate, to not have to drive 20 minutes to get their full groceries. And we are just very thankful for that. We also bring in many people from outside of Winthrop coming into Winthrop, so maybe they're not only getting groceries, but they're doing other things. So we continue to grow our customers from outside of Winthrop to bring them in. the whole goal is with the growth is the more people that support the store, the better the store will get. The fresher we'll be able to have our produce and everything else, and the more inventory we can bring. As we continue to grow and build, even if we don't have certain inventory products, we've been able to source many products that are not normally in an inventory for people, which is whether it's a whole case or anything like that. So those services are able to be done as well. And one other fact that's not in here, but is we also do a lot with the food shelf. Last year, between donations and everything like that, there was over 4,000 pounds delivered to the food shelf. That's not allowing food to go to waste, and the people get food. And yeah, so. So now we'll get, what is Winthrop Marketing asking for? So the Winthrop Marketing is asking the City of Winthrop Council for a resolution of $250,000. What that entails is $160,000 to purchase the building. It would be nice for a long-term plan. Again, this is being proactive. All this is being proactive. I put together an initial 3-year plan to get going and everything like that. But we want to stay open long-term. So this is all proactive of what's going to take to secure the building, do everything like that. So another $20,000 is to update our front entrances. They've continued to battle. We fixed them a few times, but it needs to go to a different accessibility to make that more feasible for the customers. $25,000 is to purchase the equipment. And then $45,000 is for operating capital for future repairs of the building and equipment. City would be responsible for the building and the equipment and maintenance and repairs for a deferred amount of time. In that aspect, again, it's all about making the Winthrop market viable long-term. So in order to do that, we don't want to keep adding on loan debt and loan debt and loan debt until we sink where we can no longer, we have too much loan debt for the cash flow. So a little bit of assistance to help us get our loan debt paid off first, it will go in a long way. This $250,000 is not a grant. So one thing is the city will be acquiring the property and assets, and whether they're, you never can control everything, but one thing you do want, if you are putting money to it, is usually you want something to back that up. And once debt's paid off, the city will be collecting rent or deferred payments from the Winthrop market. So why are we coming to this again? It's being proactive and establishing a long-term. It's only fair to myself, to our employees, and to all our customers to know that we have a plan set forth to not only be open now or a few days or until the next thing happens, but to set us up in a spot where we're going to be open for hopefully years and years. We want to establish a plan. If we're doing this, we want to establish a viable plan. So we're successful doing a 3-year plan, but now we want to make sure we're long-term. How are we going to become more viable? Is with the city helping us out here, we'll be able to reduce our expenses such as the property taxes and insurance and repairs, so we can work on eliminating our debt. Again, too much debt will only sink the cash flow. Also, at the hands of the city will have more opportunities to help with the repairs. There's the rebates and grants that we can be working on. And I myself will still be continuing to try to work on that. The Good Food Access Grant is one that we are able to apply for. And in 2022, we were awarded $22,000, which we are currently updating our meat equipment. We will be applying and hopefully trying to help with that to also help with get repairs done. And again, doing it this way, the city will have property and assets to show for their thing. So In closing, Winthrop Market is thankful to the community for their support and success of operating for more than 3 years. Together with your support, we look to establish a long-term plan to continue to serve and support our community with local food access. And I appreciate everyone coming, and if you have questions or comments, I don't know how you want to handle that.
We'll do that in a little bit.
Okay, next, Michael is going to give a little update on some options for financing, so on.
Sit down there.
So before we get to numbers, for those of you that don't know, I'm Michael Loft. I'm the city administrator and EDA director. I wear both hats in the city. So I just wanted to go over a little bit about where this journey has started. On the city side this year, there's been a lot of misinformation about that. So in August, Winthrop Market LLC came to the EDA and asked for specific monies to help operate the building, but furthermore, add equipment and some operating debt, operating expenses to Winthrop Market. So in about August is when we started the conversation. Since then, we have had at least 6 meetings open to the public, from city council meetings to dual meetings with the EDA, Winthrop Opportunities, and city council. We have come up with a number of versions to try to help save the operational status of Winthrop Market. And then in September, City Council decided that the Winthrop Opportunities and the Winthrop EDA should really get together and find a different plan, because what we were talking about really didn't match our assets and our liability. So with council's direction, EDA started looking at ways to help Winthrop Market not only get over their debt, but continue to operate. During our October meeting in Winthrop EDA, we decided that what was appropriate is that we would purchase the building. And in that, we would also help fix the entryway to Winthrop Market. So that was an approval from the EDA to go forward with $180,000. At that time, Winthrop Market declined taking the 180 because it was not enough to secure the rest of their debt, and it wasn't a viable long-term solution for them. So for those of you that are reading the city council packets, you'll notice that in November it was on city council's agenda, but then was tabled at the meeting because the request from Winthrop Market was higher than what they were willing at the EDA to fund. And so that's kind of where we were today. So at the November meeting of City Council, it was determined that we would have open public forums, get community feedback, share information as best we can, and ensure that the public had a voice. And that was directed to by council. So there'll be this meeting at 3, and then there's one at 7 p.m. Obviously, every time we spend money as a city, we incur debt, and we cost citizens money. That's the way this operates. There's not any magical fund that the city has that generates money without it coming from taxpayers. So there's really 2 ways that the city can do that. And that is not. One is to take it out of our general fund. Obviously, just like citizens of Winthrop, we have a savings account. It's the rainy day fund. When something breaks or needs repair, we have a fund that we can access. But that would need to be repaid. Most of our funds are attributed or connected to an asset in town. For instance, when we replaced a snowplow, we saved for years to replace the snowplow. So now we're building that fund back up because snowplows don't last forever. So the $250,000 that Winthrop Market is asking for, we would have to replace in our general fund accounting. It would depend on city council how long and what terms, but when we take it out of our money market account, we will lose interest on that account. So not only do we have to make up the 250, but also a little bit of the interest that we would lose for having it in there. And you might say, well, who cares about the interest? Well, that interest is used for our budget every single year. So when we don't have that interest in our account, we have to account for it somewhere. So not only are we going to be charging the taxpayers a percentage every year, we would also be trying to make up the interest in the account. That would be revenue on our budget line. So this is just an example. It's a really bad example, but it's the best that I thought would make the most sense. So if we decided to pay it back in 26 years or 25 years, and we put $10,000 down every single year, in our new budget, it'd be less than 1%, but that does not account for the revenue. So our revenue would go down because we don't have $250,000 in the bank anymore, generating interest. So it'd be about a 2% impact over the life of the loan. So that means that the less than 5% levy that we did this year, that would have been a 7% levy, if that makes sense. Now, that could change depending on council. If they want to pay it back in 5 years, that'll be a larger, much more significant impact to your taxes. We're talking a good 10%. About every $10,000 is about a percentage point. So, you know, if it's $50,000, that's going to be a 5% increase. So think about it in tens because it's usually easier that way. The other way we can finance things is through a general obligation bond. I will tell you that speaking with our bond agent and many other situations, this isn't a normal situation. And normally our general obligations for our bonds go towards a project, right? Sewer, water, streets, that type of infrastructure, and it has a lifespan. It has a life cycle, and that's how they usually figure out how long your bond can be for. Because the building's not assessed, we would assume that this is going to be a 20 or 30-year bond, but nothing longer than that. They couldn't imagine that it would be any longer. So if you look at it, it would be about $17,000 that we'd have to pay back, and it would have a pretty significant impact because we also have fees that we have to pay every time we take out a bond. It's about $15,000. It depends though on the insurance on the bond, and there's a lot of factors, but it's usually about $15,000 every time we take out debt. So, you know, our tax levy this year was a little bit less than $854. This is an old spreadsheet. We got it below that, but if we added on Winthrop Market's debt, your tax levy increase this year would have been about 9% if we would have added the levy to this year's tax rolls. So why am I telling you this? I just wanted to make it really clear that the city is aware that this will have an impact. If city council approves it either way, whether we take it out of our general fund or if we do a bond, either way, it's going to have an impact on taxes.
Okay, at this time, we're just going to take questions from people that are here, questions or comments. You can give us your feelings. Who would like to go first?
Mr. Mayor, did you want me to just read down the list first?
Oh, yes, go ahead. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I didn't know we had.
James Miller.
Yeah.
And if you can't get up here, let us know. We'll repeat the question.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
I'm James Miller. I am not a resident of Winthrop, but the market has a huge impact in my life. Little bit about me is I've been here, I worked at the market now about 2 years. Came here from Iowa. My wife's from Gibbon. Started in the meat department, loved it. So one of the reasons I want to get up to speak to you guys is that there's so many people here that I serve that just, you know by name, that it's an important market to have here in a small town. People I've talked to 10 miles out of town come here versus New Ulm because it's more convenient during the wintertime. If we didn't have that, then they're traveling elsewhere. So when they're in town shopping here, they'll stop at the gas station or they'll stop somewhere else, and that's providing more income for the city as well, right? So when they're coming in, that's a huge deal. So I want to talk about just a couple things here as to why the market needs, why the city really should consider the need to have that here. First thing is, Mr. Mayor, of all things, processing. You came in the other day with just a little bit of meat, and we were able to accommodate it. Because that's what we do. We're very customer-oriented. You ask any of these guys, we do what needs to be done. So that's a vital asset. I already mentioned the convenience of the